stuff's selling for 50 times more. We were like, there's this entire universe out here, and all we needed was basically shipping labels to access it.
And the music came up.
Yeah, exactly.
eBay.
Let's fight failure together. We can defeat 90.
So you're doing this business, you're a teenager, and you have your dad.
Mm-hmm.
What's that dynamic like of him mentoring you versus letting you fail versus being a parent? Because like, you know how that can go.
I mean, he made huge sacrifices starting out, because what it was basically the product. He had the source, to get the product, and then he had the people that we were selling to, which were his contacts. So basically he would bring in the product, have us go through it, sort it, go through like a guide and find out, what people needed and fulfill the orders. And then we would get paid off of it. So we were doing like the work once it came in and getting it out the door, but we hadn't actually created value yet. So he kind of did what like Henry Ford did when they came up with the Shelby, basically told all the factory workers to walk home that day and think of a way to make Ford successful or don't come back. And
so we cut you off almost.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, and they came back and they had the idea for a sports car. So my dad told me and Luke one month, basically that this idea of, me bringing the product and you sell it to my contacts and stuff, like this doesn't make sense, for the long term. This is going to be the last month we do this. Next month, I want to hear some new ideas from you on like how we're going to grow this business. And, that was like a year in.
So I know the story of where this goes, because again, I've been working with you for a while. What was a spark that made you figure out where you went with that?
So I think it's truly like innovation. The times I've been the most innovative in my life have been like the back against the wall, high pressure moments. Yeah. And I wish we could like get into that headspace voluntarily, but I like have yet to find out how to do that. So it's like when someone says like, it's make it or break it time, whatever idea that you've got, like the seed sprouts out of that fear, per se. So we went home and we were looking through the list, and what we had on our shelves was a bunch of stuff that was worth $1, which obviously isn't even worth shipping. And that's what happened was we looked it up. We just Googled the number, and we were just thinking like, is there any other place we could sell? Because for us, our entire universe was these 3 companies that buy from us. Like, and that's where our tunnel vision was. Like, these are the only 3 companies that buy this stuff. This is all that exists. Yeah. So by like Googling it and then hitting enter and seeing eBay come up where it was like, stuff selling for 50 times more, we were like, there's this entire universe out here, and all we needed was basically shipping labels to access it.
And the music came up.
Yeah, exactly.
eBay. We should do a commercial.
Yeah,
eBay, can you sponsor this for us? Because there's probably going to be more information about eBay on here than they probably deserve. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? I said that out loud. So anyways, we'll just move on from that.
Yeah, I just lost my sponsorship.
We love you, eBay. Sorry, there is some things there that is part of the reason why we can't talk about some of this stuff. Anyways, so jumping into that the innovation, learning the ins and outs of that.
Which again, like because we innovated, I'll never know whether that was a real ultimatum or not. That's kind of how it's been working with my dad and stuff. Is like he may have said next month, hey, I'll give you another month or whatever, but at the moment, that was the dead end. You know what I mean? And whether it's a real dead end or a perceived dead end, I think it has the same effect, especially growing up,
Well, I think I think the thing I want to pull right here, and just like, we all face those moments, right? And so much at a time, we let fear in and we get to a place where like, oh my gosh, we get overwhelmed. I can be one of those people that gets overwhelmed sometimes. But I love that thought of turning that moment into innovation. Yeah. Because I honestly say that you act as if that's just normal. I don't think that's normal for everybody else. I think there's a lot more people who are like, oh, well, I guess this is it.
Yeah, moving on.
I guess we're done. And I think that goes to the part of you that is the entrepreneur, that is that risk taker, that is that innovator inside of you that's like, now we got to figure this out. And I've personally seen you do that so much. And it's just, it's one of the most impressive things about who you are. You are a critical, amazing problem solver, innovator. And when your back's against the wall, you perform, which, if it's the end of the world, I want you on my team. I'm just saying, like this is the guy you want on your team. But for you guys, I think there's a switch there that you can look for. There's that moment when you get, okay, how can I innovate? How can I do this? How can I look for the positive into it? Because I can tell you, in some of the things we've faced in the business, those have been actually some of the best changes that have happened to us. That we would have never even thought about the idea unless we were in a spot where like, oh crap, we got to figure this out. So look for the innovation.
Let's fight failure together. We can defeat 90.